So, US missiles in Germany. European capitals could become targets Russia threatens. Since the announcement of these episodic deployments of long-range fire capabilities by NATO in Europe, the Kremlin has denounced a form of return to the Cold War. Let's read the article. Moscow warned Europe on Saturday that Washington's decision to deploy long-range American missiles in Germany risks exposing the continent's populations whose capitals in turn become targets from Russia. This is a paradoxical situation. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, Europe is a target for our missiles, our country is a target for American missiles in Europe. We have already experienced this, we have gone through this, we have the capacity to contain these missiles, but the potential victims of Russian response are the capitals of these European countries, of course. If war between NATO and Russia would erupt, then the European Union would be completely destroyed, would be hit by far the hardest. And I'm talking about a nuclear war. Like the United States would be hit very hard, however they would probably be able to withstand, however Europe would be pretty much turned to rubble and the West would indeed fall. Only USA and Canada would likely survive. And maybe some places like Switzerland, however. Necessary decision. At the NATO summit, Washington and Berlin announced a joint statement on Wednesday that the United States would begin episodic deployments of long-range fire capabilities in Germany in 2026, citing SM-6 missiles, Tomahawk missiles, and hypersonic weapons under development, which will increase the range of capabilities currently deployed in Europe. This will demonstrate the United States' commitment to NATO and its contribution to an integrated European deterrent, the joint statement said. Chancellor Olaf Scholz welcomed as a necessary and important decision taken at the right time, which guarantees peace. No, this is just an escalation. Setting up a long-range missiles does not guarantee you peace. This is who believes it? Who is stupid enough to believe that this is going to guarantee you peace? No, this is only an escalation. Period. So you might be asking, so we should just not arm ourselves? No. I'm saying, this is an escalation. I'm not saying you should not be arming yourself. Call it the right way. Call it by the correct word. We are escalating our Cold War with Russia. Do not say we are guaranteeing peace, because you're not. You're escalating a Cold War situation with Russia. Period. Fortunately, it's not the absolute Cold War yet, it's not this situation as it was between Soviets and the NATO in the last century. Not yet. In their final statement in Washington, NATO countries said that Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine has shattered peace and stability in the Euro-Atlantic area and seriously undermines international security. Russia remains the most significant and direct threat to the security of allies, they added. And to add one more thing. Russia would, if the World War III was to break out, Russia would probably simply destroy it. If the nuclear war was to break out, Russia would simply destroy everything west to probably Poland. They would destroy everything west of Poland, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, UK. It would be nuclear annihilation. Russia does not have manpower to garrison all of these big cities, all that population. They do not have manpower for that. Therefore, there's only one solution to that, and it's a very grim, very dark solution I hope I will never live to see, and I hope neither any of you will ever live to see such dark times unravel upon us. Back to the Cold War. The announcement was denounced by the Kremlin as a form of return to the Cold War in reference to the confrontation between the USSR and the United States, marked in particular by the Euro missile crisis in the late 70s and 80s, provoked by the Soviet and American deployment of the nuclear-capable missiles in Europe. The crisis ended with signing the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces (INF) Treaty, which banned ground-launched ballistic and cruise missiles with range less than 500 to 5,500 kilometers. But the treaty collapsed after the United States withdrew in 2019, repeatedly accusing Moscow of not respecting it, particularly with its 9M729 missile, Fired by the Iskander system, Russia had then assured that it would observe a moratorium on the production of such devices if the United States did not deploy them at a distance that would allow them to reach its territory. The deployment of the US equipment announced Wednesday would contravene the INF treaty if it were still in force, which is not. On Friday, the defense minister of the two nuclear powers spoke to discuss reducing risk of escalation. Well, you're doing pretty bad job at that, according to Moscow. While Washington stressed on the occasion the importance of maintaining lines of communication, indeed. Europe is cracking. Relations between Russia and NATO have deteriorated significantly since the start of the Russian offensive in 2022 on Ukraine, a country supported by the members of the Atlantic Alliance. Western countries have adopted a severe economic sanctions against Russia, which has moved closer to China, the United States' great rival on the world stage, and even to North Korea, and even to Iran. And probably is going to move closer to Afghanistan as well, it seems like. As well as some places in Sahel region or the Western Africa region. Places like Burkina Faso, Niger, and countries like that. European authorities also accuse Russia of waging a hybrid war against them, using a wide range of vectors from information attacks to espionage in order to accentuate the divisions and fault lines in the European society. Oh no, Europe is doing already a pretty good job at it themselves. United Europe, that's a joke now. Europe will never ever be united again, and that's a fact. And eventually it's going to be seen by the entire world that the Europe is no longer united, that there's a big division culturally in Europe and ethnically, and eventually there are going to be separatist movements, and there will be birth of many new countries. Dmitry Peskov said the situation caused by the missile deployments could undermine Europe in the same way that the Cold War ended with the collapse of USSR in 1991. Europe is cracking at the very seam. It is not going through a good period, he said on Russian television, Russia 1. Well, it's not only Europe, it's the entire world. Should I check the US debt? Maybe I could. This is the end of the article, so I'm gonna check the US debt now. US debt clock. Oh, sorry. Yes, I did that on purpose. Let's see. It's now, so I'm gonna check it right away. I have a folder for the US debt. The US debt I screenshotted, which was 9 July of 2024, which is like a week away. The interest on the US debt was 888 billion. Now it's 5 billion larger. The spending on defense went up by only 2 billion. Only. So yeah. Once again, the interest on the debt is catching up to the defense and war. That's not good. As I said before, once it passes the defense war department, then you're gonna know we are in big trouble. And it's actually growing even larger than the social security. And is it growing large? Yeah, and even so the interest on the debt is growing larger than both defense department, social security, and Medicare, Medicaid. So the largest growing budget item currently is the interest on the debt. Yep, that is not good. That is not good at all. And the national debt went up by almost $20 billion. Also not good. Don't worry, I'm gonna post you the screenshot from the 9th of July, so you don't have to worry about that. Psych. And yeah, even a lot of people from different nations that moved to the Europe, or Europe fails to integrate a good portion of those people. The people that migrate into Europe, they need to be integrated into the cultures of said countries. They have to be educated on the values of the European Union. They have to be educated on the values of their nations, and they have to become, I don't want to say patriotic towards the nation, but they have to be willing to fight for the nation and fight for their neighbors, regardless of who that might be. If they move to France, they are French. They are no longer Guinean. They are no longer from Ghana. They are no longer Chad. No, they are goddamn French, and that's it. You migrate to a place, you stay there, you become the citizen of that country, and you should act like that. Unfortunately, a good portion of people do not feel like part of the country. It is due to various of reasons, alright? Some simply do not want to integrate because of maybe some culture differences or religion. That's also a big part, because France I believe, is definitely more Christian than my country. My country is quite a bit atheist. We do not believe in gods. So yeah, French is more Catholic. So if a Muslim comes into France, he probably does not feel as welcome. And I mean, the average Christian, I would say, he is polite. However, average Christian, alright? Average Christian is not everyone, and we cannot ignore that a lot of people make them feel unwelcome. And some people just simply do not do anything to actually be welcome. So I'm just going in circles. What I'm trying to say, people that move into Europe do not integrate. They have to be integrated. They have to integrate into the cultures, into the nations. They have to be given values. They don't have to be forcefully integrated to stop doing their traditions. However, they have to be given values. They have to be taught how to behave in a first world society, and they have to be a productive member of the society or become a famous YouTuber. One of those, or a streamer. So that's everything I wanted to say about it. We can move on.